So I'm going to start first. All right. So to set the scene, it's a night. On August 31st, Hitler had made the order to invade Poland. Full-on invasion of Poland. They're getting ready for war. The diplomatic fallout already happened, and Poland knows it's going to get invaded. And September 1st at dawn, like before dawn actually, like from midnight, the Germans are crossing the border in all different parts of the front, no exception for this area, Modlin front. And there's Stukas bombing Warsaw and frontline areas as well. The town of Chu, which is south of Danzig, is also bombed. The Germans try to take that bridge with armored car reconnaissance, but they failed to get it. They also try to use an armored train. Armored trains. There's only 4 armored trains in this entire war, by the way. Well, in this entire German-Polish war. And one of them is going to be wasted on Chu. In the Modlin front, the Germans first cross the border at roughly 5 in the morning. The invasion starts at 4:45, but the first Germans who cross the border are sighted by the Poles by around 5 o'clock a.m. Walter Petzel's corps is going on the western side front directly towards Mława, and Wodrig is going kind of diagonally-ish, east towards Przanish, which is a small town it's east of Mława. And actually, what's pretty good about the situation in the very beginning of the invasion, the first few hours, is that the Modlin front, unlike, for example, the Pomeranian front, the Pomortia front, the Pomortia army, the Modlin army actually gets noticed that the invasion occurred. So they know they gotta prepare, they know that the Germans are coming, and that they gotta defend. So their eyes are keen, just watching out for Germans, especially the 20th Infantry Division is. And that gets them a little more prepared than some other Polish units, and that bring a small advantage to them. So the 11th Infantry Division, Max Bock, they are the first ones to cross the border at 5 a.m. and they reach the 80th Infantry Regiment's defenses. So again, that's the eastern side of the 20th Infantry Division for the Poles. And as you can expect, the Polish infantry fire to Germans. The Germans are kind of hurt, and also the 2 right flank divisions of Max Bock's 11th Division is also repulsed by the 78th Infantry Regiment on the other side. So Max Bock is not doing very well in the very start, and the next wave comes. Panzer Division Kemp, the Panzer Division, they attack and they're going to fail. So they have a strongly moralized effort to advance southwards. Even SS Regiment Deutschland, which is a part of this, I guess I forgot to mention that earlier. That's a part of Panzer Division Kemp, and they also attempt to go south to cut off the road to Mława and behind Mława and in front of Mława, but they fail. They're halted by the Poles at this town called Uniszki Zawadzki, and the attempts to attack 80th Infantry Regiment fail as well. So 20th Artillery Regiment, Light Artillery Regiment also bombard the Germans at the same time. The German Infantry and Panzer Division but not panzers, panzer divisions, are badly mauled by this artillery bombardment. And so since the SS Regiment Deutschland, Deutschland failed to meet its goals of infiltrating the 20th Infantry Division, Panzer Division Kemp itself, its panzers, are now going to try to break through. So 7th Panzer Regiment of Panzer Division Kemp arrive in the afternoon, I think 14 o'clock, 15 o'clock, something like that, to support the SS Regiment's attempts, but they found a bunch of obstacles. There are concrete, tall obstacles that really, it's like a wall almost, that the Polish army had built before the war, and they're unable to break it. They're actually pretty scary defenses. They're tall, they're concrete. You can't just break through it very easily, and even if you wanted to, there's a huge ditch, a 6-meter ditch, 6-meter wide ditch. So even if you have huge panzers like Panzer IIIs or something, it's going to be really hard to just find this way, even if you get a bunch of engineers to help you with it. So you have to go around. But what happens is that Panzer Division Kemp, specifically 7th Panzer Regiment, they believe that they can just go right through it, and they fail, and they learn their lesson, right? What they do is they move parallel to the front line. There's Polish snipers, Polish riflemen, and Polish artillery, and the panzers are just going parallel to the front line. And you don't have to be a military expert to understand why that's such a bad idea. You have panzers, the front lines like this, and you try to break through over here, you failed, so you're going directly like this, within range of Polish guns. That's not very smart, but that's what Kemp did. Kind of shows his ineptitude for being a Panzer Division commander, and I mean, frankly, he's an old German World War II style general. He there's a lot of those. They don't believe in the kind of Heinz-Guderian method, if you will, of fast mobility, breaking through. Kemp kind of wants Great War style warfare, in a way, although it's with tanks, of course. So after this failure, Werner Kemp writes a letter. Actually, no, I think it's a phone call. He phones Küchler, either directly or through Petzel, basically just outlining how horrible the attack had been. So the assault really fails for Panzer Division Kemp, and Küchler understands this as well. And Panzer Division Kemp withdraws by the evening, and by the night, they haven't made much progress against 80th Infantry Regiment. So in total, 80th Infantry Regiment survived 3 assaults on September 1st alone. First with the infantry, then with the SS, then with the panzers. They survived all 3 of them because of just great defenses, anti-tank ditches, and good guns as well. So on the other side of the front, on the other side, like the Poles, but on the other side of the German front, you have Wodrig Corps, which advances south just like everything else, but they do much better than Walter Petzel's 1st Army Corps. They actually make a little bit of progress. So German 1st Infantry Division, they attacked 79th Infantry Regiment at Żegnowo, and they fail. And Derleyen's 12th Infantry Division attacks as well. Just 1st Division, 12th Division, more or less side by side, but 1st Division first. And they don't get what they exactly want, but 12th Division does manage to push the Polish Mazowiecka Cavalry Brigade back like a few kilometers, few miles. And that's progress, right? You didn't cross any bridges, you didn't cross any rivers, you didn't destroy a large amount of Polish troops, but you got the Polish Cavalry Brigade out of that area to the east. And in the evening, the 11th Cavalry Regiment of the Mazowiecka Cavalry Brigade has to retreat, but they end up having to fight a German cavalry brigade. Remember, Germany has a cavalry brigade. The 1st Cavalry Brigade is going almost directly against Mazowiecka Cavalry Brigade, but instead it's 1st Division, 12th Division, and 1st Cavalry Brigade just going against one cavalry brigade, right? That the Polish are outnumbered in this area as well, so they retreat, but they're not horribly destroyed, which is pretty good for the Polish on September 1st. This is called the Battle of Lasy Królewski, which is it's kind of famous for its image of a Polish cavalry fighting against Germans, which is going to be a recurring theme. Joseph Goebbels loves using Polish cavalry against German tanks as huge propaganda measure, which, as I'll talk about it, that's not necessarily true. They don't like to do that all the time, and the Poles do manage to fight back a lot in the Modlin Army as well. So by the end of the first day, September 1st ends, and 3rd Army had made almost no gains against the Modlin Army. They did make a little headway in the east with 1st Infantry Division, 12th Infantry Division, and 1st Cavalry Brigade fighting against Mazowiecka Cavalry Brigade. But for the main front, Petzel at Mława, it's not going so well. So Mława stands, and Żegnowo is kind of hindered, but not in any substantial way that destroys the front by any means. The Polish army is standing perfectly fine in all of the Polish north. So Army Group North in general actually doesn't make that much progress this day on September 1st. And what's important is that during the night, there's a lot of maneuvers. Always there's maneuvers in the night, but this one's important. Küchler comes to the conclusion in the night that the 1st Corps should continue attacking 78th and 80th Infantry Regiments, but Werner Kemp's division should go east, should Żegnowo. So that makes a lot of sense. That might be what I would do if I was Küchler at this point, or Petzel. You're not making much progress as you want in the 1st Army, the 1st Corps, and you are making a lot of progress in 26th Corps, Wodrig Corps, and you have a Panzer Division. Where do you want to use the Panzer Division? Do you come up to go through these huge fortifications? No, that's what infantry is for. Use Panzer Divisions to go through plains and just surround the enemy and threaten encirclement. And that's exactly what Küchler does. So the Wodrig Corps would gain the Panzer Division Kemp by the morning. On the Polish side, Krukowicz-Przezromirski does understand the situation, and at the end of this day, or middle of this day, he meets with General Commander-in-Chief Edward Schmigwy, and talks to him about the situation in the north, the Modlin front, and basically they say, like, maybe we should concentrate forces in Vyshkov, and they also consider withdrawing a bit from Rzhegnovo, but then decide, no, we gotta stand strong in both places, Mława and Rzhegnovo, both of those places, and only then could we actually expect to survive. They want to survive, not to win and reach Berlin. They just don't want Warsaw to be captured. That's their main goal. And they didn't make any counterattack plan yet. And even until this point, 8th Infantry Division doesn't have much going on. 8th Infantry Division is just lying around as a reserve, and they haven't been allocated to either side front. And I think a big worry for this, in terms of Emil Krukowicz-Przezromirski's perspective, is that you don't know where the Germans are going to have the main attack. Right now, it seems like the main attack is going directly at Mława, but it could be at Rzhegnovo, or it could be in between, or it can be totally to the right, or it can be totally to the left flank. You don't know, right? It's just the first day, and there's a lot of maneuvers that can happen. So, although you're kind of hurting your sense by not utilizing an entire infantry division that could be used on the front line, it's pretty strategic, because a huge worry for the Polish army is encirclement. They even if they get badly damaged, they can keep fighting as long as they're not encircled. If they're encircled, they have like almost no choice. You basically just fight a little bit more, then you get barraged by artillery, you surrender, and you get captured. That's what usually happens. So there's no plans to retreat out of Mława or Rzhegnovo to Modlin Fortress anytime soon, by the end of September 1st.